Hey everyone, my name is Robert Hall and today we're talking about the Godox VL300 LED, an LED that I've been using for a couple months now to light my videos. A little history first to add context to the VL300. Godox's first COB LED was the SL series. They launched the SL200, 100, and 60 to provide a range of power options. These LEDs were a stellar value, providing a ton of output for a very low price. However, they were limited by their bulky size, mediocre CRI, loud fan noise, and AC restriction. Somewhere along the way in production, having heard the criticism of the loud fans, Godox improved the fans by using ones with a lower pitch and quieter noise. So it's not surprising at all to hear mixed opinions about the fans online. But still, the size, the light quality, and AC restrictions were unable to compete with the likes of other quality LED units like the popular Aputure 120 and 300D. Godox provided a little preview of their LED improvements with the FV series of lighting. This series brought better CRI and much improved fans, but it was still limited by its AC requirement. If you'd like to hear more about this series, which also includes some flash features, you can watch this video right up here. Enter the VL series of lighting, which is available in 150, 200, and 300 watt models. Now, I only have this VL300, so I will be talking about my experience with this specific light, but let me quickly address the differences between the 150, 200, and 300. I'll start by saying the wattages are odd. 150 is so close to 200 that only 1/3 stop of light separates them. I think the choice in having a 150 watt model is simply to convince amateur buyers that it's more powerful than the Aputure 120. The VL150 is the smallest option and comes in at $399. The light fixture is 4.3 pounds and it has a 1.9 pound controller that can hold a single V-mount battery. The VL200 is $549, has a fixture weight of 4.9 pounds and has a 2.6 pound controller that can attach 2 V-mount batteries. The VL300 is $749, weighs 5.8 pounds, and has a 2.7 pound controller that can attach 2 V-mount batteries as well. Now, I reached out to Godox to see why the VL300 controller weighs slightly more than the VL200 controller, but I haven't had an answer yet. The big thing to separate these three lights is their power, price, and size. Beyond that, they have pretty much the same functionality and qualities that I'm about to go over on the VL300. Now, power is always the prominent thing I like to go over first on lighting, and this VL300 is a beast, slightly edging out every 300 watt LED product I've ever tested, including the Clar Illumi 300 and Aputure 300D Mark I. Now, 4 feet from the light meter using this stock reflector, the VL300 metered f11 and 7/10 of a stop at ISO 100 with a shutter speed of 1/50th of a second. Even giving the Clar Illumi 300 the same Godox reflector to help concentrate its output, the Illumi 300 was 7/10 of a stop less bright than the VL300. If you watched a previous video of mine, I showed that the Illumi was slightly brighter than the Aputure 300D Mark I. I really think Godox has released the brightest 300 watt COB LED on the market. And now this is primarily due to the efficient light concentration of this reflector. Once you instead drop it into a soft modifier, most of that difference will disappear and it will be much closer to the output of other 300 watt LEDs. Here's some quick real world samples of me using it outdoors at sunset for a friend's music video. It had no trouble illuminating the subject to balance with the bright sky behind him, despite the light being quite far away. Another thing I'd like to point out is the accuracy of the power dimmer. It is perfectly linear in that 100% power is 1 stop brighter than 50%, 50% is 1 stop brighter than 25%, and so on all the way down to its 1% minimum. This is really nice for anyone who is using a light meter and wants accurate dimming that they can rely on. The next important thing is the fan noise. The VL300 and 200 both have dual fans to push the heat off the heatsink. I measure the noise at the same distance that I've previously measured the Clar Illumi and Aputure 300D Mark I, and the VL300 was a couple decibels quieter. An extremely welcome feature of this device is that the fans don't come on until they're necessary, which seems to be in the 30 to 40% range depending on the ambient temperature of whatever your environment is. This is great because I use the light for my home videos at less than 10%, and now I don't have any ambient sound to work around in my recordings. This VL300 is primarily metal construction. There's only some small plastic pieces, but the housing protecting the light is all metal, making it very robust and hopefully able to withstand a ton of abuse and last for a very long time. This is also far and away the best quality mounting system that I've ever seen on a Godox product as well, with this large knob to lock the tilt position on the big generous yoke. To test out the durability to see if it would tilt at all, I grabbed the largest softbox I had lying around, a 60-inch octabox, and this light held its position with ease, even when I added extra tension by pulling down on the bottom of the softbox. I've also had this thing mounted with a strip box in the same place in my home for over 2 months, and it hasn't rotated on the stand at all, despite the fact that it's been mounted sideways the whole time. For me, this is the biggest win on the VL300, and I'd love to see this attention to build quality make it to other products. Now, this is a Bowens mount light, which allows for the attachment of any Bowens mount modifiers, which gives you the freedom to pick from hundreds, if not thousands, of softboxes, Fresnels, reflectors, beauty dishes, and more. If you see right here, there's also a spring tension slot for umbrellas. However, there is one very unfortunate design flaw here in that the umbrella mount is too close to the Bowens mount for an umbrella to be attached while this stock reflector is mounted. And with this reflector's extremely efficient concentration of light, pairing with an umbrella might have been the most efficient method of diffusing this light source. Now, I'm probably just gonna drill a hole in the reflector so that I can mount an umbrella through it, because otherwise I don't plan on being too reliant on using the reflector on its own. Color quality on this light is fantastic. They really echoed what they accomplished with the FV series. In its reflector, using my Sekonic C800 colorimeter, I found that it had a color temperature of 5625 Kelvin. And despite its specs stating that it had a color accuracy of plus or minus 200K across the entire power range, I never saw it move more than 100 degrees. The CRI is a very respectable 95.3 to 96.2. I got the 96.2 rating after having it running for a while, suggesting it may take a little bit of time to warm up to its max potential. More importantly, it does great in the R9 color spectrum, rating 96.0 in the critical red spectrum that contains a lot of skin tones. Its average is mostly brought down by a 72.3 in the R12, a spectrum for deep blues. CCI was metered at 0.0, meaning there is no green or magenta cast on this light. This was a major criticism of the SL series, not only that they had some color cast, but that across the various models it was inconsistent, which made it tough to use multiple lights together. This controller box for the device is nowhere near as pretty as the light itself, but it serves its purpose just fine. There are only 2 buttons, an on button and a button for changing the group and channel. Those group and channels can be controlled wirelessly with the extremely simple remote or via the app, which uses Bluetooth. And if you don't want to connect either of those, there is this large dial right here to change the brightness as well. There are ports at the top and the bottom, one to connect a cable to the light and the other to connect the controller to the power adapter. If you're using AC power, you can connect the power adapter to any of the V-mount slots on the back using this included Velcro accessory. I find this Velcro accessory pretty cheap and annoying. I would have preferred some direct connection of the male V-mount attachment onto the power brick. The cable from the light to the controller is long enough to keep the controller low on a light stand, and the 2 connections on either side of the power adapter give you a ton of length to move this light throughout a space. Also on top, you'll find these 2 antennas, which do fold down if you're transporting it, but need to be up in order to ensure full distance and connection to the remote or Bluetooth. This does not have any form of DMX built in. There's also this retractable nylon loop, and this is for hanging on a light stand. At first, this loop scared me that it wouldn't be strong enough to last long term, but I've had it hanging with the AC adapter attached to it for 2 months straight now, and it's been just fine. On the back, you'll find 2 slots for V-mount batteries if you'd like to power the VL300 on location without access to AC or a generator. Don't expect extra long battery life here. At full power, the VL300 will eat 260 watt-hour V-mount batteries in under an hour. Now, all of this comes packaged in a case that is extremely reminiscent of the Aputure 300D case. I mean, let's be honest, everything about this light is slightly reminiscent of the Aputure 300D. Each piece is padded and compartmentalized in a way that prevents anything from rubbing during transport. You can carry the case using 2 straps on the side or install the included shoulder strap. Overall, fantastic light output, accurate output, low fan noise, great build quality, decent CRI, and versatile power options, all packaged in a proven format. My minor gripes of the Velcro V-mount attachment and no umbrella reflector combo are very easy to get over given all that this light delivers, especially when you pair that with the fact that this is coming in at a lower price than the competition. Before, Godox was providing budget options with serious drawbacks, but this VL series as well as the FV series of lighting shows that they are ready to bring serious competition to the COB LED market. I hope that this video has had all the information that you need to determine if this series of lighting is a good fit for you. If this video provided the answers that you came here for, please hit that like button. If you plan on purchasing this light, I've got links to all 3 models in the description below. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or share with me any other LED products that you'd like me to take a look at. Right now I'm exploring various nan light products. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, and until next time, keep on shooting.